Hey guys, welcome back to the CulePodcast. Welcome back to another video. On today's video, we're going to be looking at some of the fallout from yesterday's match against Real Madrid. We're going to be talking about Frenkie De Jong as he did pick up an injury, in that game. But he did come on for Frenkie De Jong in the first half. And then as well, we're going to be talking about Xavi because there is an update in regards to his future. There's a lot of speculation, lots of rumors, and we're going to be talking about that on the channel. But guys, before I get started on the video, make sure to follow me on all my social media platforms. Go over there and check me out. That way you can stay up to date with everything that I do on the channel. But guys, let's get straight into the video and let's talk about Frenkie De Jong because an official report from Barcelona, it says that Frenkie De Jong, first team player Frenkie De Jong, he has a right ankle sprain. Now, tests have been conducted, and the diagnosis, the recovery time, is that he will be out for approximately 4 to 5 weeks, and that's basically he's going to be out for basically the rest of the season. But Barca, they are saying that he will be available for the Euros because the Euros are going to be starting, in June around that time. So Frenkie De Jong, he should be available to play for the Dutch national team. And an interesting question that I posed to you guys is that could this be Frenkie De Jong's last match in a Barcelona jersey? And why do I ask you guys this question? Well, we do know that Frenkie De Jong, he's not, a very beloved player in the Barcelona fan base. He divides opinion. Even so, he divides opinion in the club itself. Some people think like, hey, is he really worth the high salary that he has? Some other things like, hey, maybe he's excess. And something else that we have to consider is that Bayern Munich, according to a report by Sky Sport, Bayern Munich, they're still intent on signing Frenkie De Jong. Now, guys, I did talk about Frenkie De Jong a couple days ago, in which I mentioned the interest from Bayern Munich, and Bayern Munich, they still want to sign the Dutchman. He's still on their short list, and they're keeping an eye on him. But right now, he's not their priority. And what's basically harming that is his high net salary. And Barcelona are also trying to reduce that. Frenkie De Jong, I believe, is one of the highest paid players in La Liga and maybe in Europe, if my memory is correct. He's still on, that Bartomeu era contract. He's deferred a lot of wages in Barcelona. They're still trying to basically, negotiate with him and lower that. And so I ask you guys that question: could this be Frenkie De Jong's last game in a Barcelona jersey? Now, for me, if any decent offer comes around, I'm talking about 90 million upwards, and I am accepting that offer and looking elsewhere. I think Frenkie De Jong in his time at Barcelona, he's been good, but he hasn't been great. He hasn't been clutch. And at a club like Barcelona, you need clutch players and you need world class players. And it's sad to me to say this, but Frank De Jong, he just may not be that. But guys, now moving on and talking about Xavi, and now Xavi, he's been talking a lot this week about referees. You may have your opinions about that. You may disagree with what he's saying. You may agree with what he's saying. But the thing is, in recent weeks, Xavi, he's been opening up, according to a report from El Deportivo. He's reconsidering his decision to leave Barcelona at the end of the season. As of right now, he feels supported by the fan base. He feels supported by the club, by the president, by the board of directors, by Rafa Yuske. He also has a good relationship with Deco, and his relationship with La Masia and everything like that, and how Laporta is doing everything in his power, to keep Xavi at the club. It's sort of it's basically opening the door for Xavi to reconsider his decision. But whether that's a good move or not, I don't know. And this is all because Xavi, in order for him to basically stay for next season, he's set some demands for Barcelona to fulfill, and what is that? Well, he's asking for a top fullback. Due to recent performances from Cancelo, in Barcelona's biggest games of the season, he just hasn't performed. He's also looking for a top pivot, and the pivot that Xavi is keeping in mind are Zubamendi and Kimmich. Those two players. And on top of that, he's asking for a player like Bernardo Silva. And this is why, players such as like Dani Olmo are being taken into consideration. And so Xavi, he's posted those three demands. And on top of that, he's also asking that he has a strong saying in all of the sporting decisions, for example, and for less of that power to go to the to the sporting directors or the president, for example. And what do I mean by that? Well, we all know that Joao Felix was basically a laporta signing. Xavi wouldn't have made that signing, for example. You're looking at Vitor Roque. That was a Deco signing. Xavi wouldn't have made that. Right now, Barcelona, they're a little bit undecided on what type of pivot they should go towards. Xavi, he's insisted for a ball controller, a Kimmich, a Zubamendi, while the Sporting's management, they're looking for a different profile. They're looking for a ball winner, and their number one option is Amadou Onana. And so there is some disagreement between Xavi and the sporting department, and what Xavi wants to do right now is say, hey, if I am to continue as a Barcelona coach, I want more power. I want these demands in order for me to continue. But at the same time, not everyone in the board of directors, they want Xavi to stay. A portion of them, they think it's a good time for Barca to move on from Xavi, and and the other side, considering John Laporta, they're a little bit unsure, but they're doing all in their power for Xavi to stay. And they're looking at options on whether to keep him until one more season or to keep him until 2025. And we are going to be talking about this in a little bit more detail on tonight's episode when we talk about this in more detail. But here's the rundown of the situation. Xavi has announced his decision to leave in January, something like that. After the Villarreal game, he came and said, hey, I'm going to be leaving Barcelona at the end of the summer. June 30th, I'm out. And so he gave Barcelona, basically 3 months or so for them to plan and say, hey, you know what? Let's see who are the managers out there, and let's see who can replace Xavi. In these 3 months, Barcelona have been sitting on their thumbs, just sitting idle, and they haven't done anything. They've been looking for Xavi. They've been pressuring to stay, and just there's so many repercussions to this. It just feels like Barcelona is doing improv and improvising on a whim, and it doesn't bode well for Barcelona. And I'm sometimes speechless at some of the stuff this club does. But guys, definitely let me know your thoughts on what do you guys make of Xavi staying. No, on Xavi potentially considering his decision to stay. Would you guys want Xavi to stay, or would you guys not? If Xavi stays, can Barcelona fulfill those demands? And what happens if we don't? Does Xavi stay? Would you guys maybe go for a Hansi Flick, which is my go-to? I would say, hey, let's move on from Xavi and let's focus on Hansi Flick, because the other alternative guy is Rafa Marquez. And Rafa Marquez does not fill me with confidence. And even then, if the alternative is Rafa Marquez, then you stay with Xavi. But guys, what do you guys make of that decision? Definitely let me know your guys' thoughts down below in the comments. And as always, guys, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for supporting the channel. We will be live tonight for our weekly Monday episode, where we're going to be talking about this. We're going to be talking about this, and we're going to be discussing about it. But guys, thank you guys all for watching. Thank you guys for tuning in, and see you guys all in the next video. Peace out, everyone.